I reincarnated into Naruto. Expected the classic loser arc. But this Naruto world is boff. Sasuke is a girl. And even worse, she has an older sister named Itachi. Just as I was wondering if the Uchiha massacre would still happen, I awakened a bond system. By bonding with original characters, I gained the chance to get stronger. So, to change my destiny, it seems I must start nurturing our little Sasuke early. Deep in the forest near the village, 3 years old, just like in the story, I finished training and wiped the sweat. A smirk tugged at my lips. My childish voice had a strange tone. Not bad, this talent. The original Naruto used talk no jutsu, but I prefer muscles and training. After all, talk doesn't work on aliens. So, at just 3 years old, I began my isolated training. Until a wow, amazing, broke my focus. The bushes rustled, and a small figure peeked out. The moment I saw her, a thought flashed. Uchiha. The little girl puffed her cheeks, putting on an arrogant air. She said, "This is where my sister and I train. Why are you here?" I was stunned, then scratched my head, and apologized with a polite smile. "If this is inconvenient, I'll leave now." She turned away, arms crossed, saying, "Suit yourself." But ... how do you throw kunai? Hearing that, my eyes lit up. I thought to myself. Soon, two small figures danced in the forest. She got more serious with every strike. The sunset painted the horizon, sparks flying in the air, like a fated encounter. I looked at her, suddenly filled with emotion, because I knew the story, and what was coming for this era. The Uchiha massacre, Itachi's bloody night, Danzo's shadows. Even if this isn't the original timeline, maybe I can change something this life. Water. Training over. I tossed my water bag over. She caught it and took a sip. Sweat trickled down her neck. After training for so long, I was hungry, so I shared my homemade bento. She froze, then asked, "You made this?" "Yeah, no parents, right?" I said it casually. Her eyes flickered. She added, "I'll eat with you then. I'm not hungry anyway." "Thanks." I stood up and continued. "Let's go to the river." The lakeside breeze was gentle. I opened the bento box. The aroma hitting us. Golden fried shrimp, fresh greens, and tomato scrambled eggs. Her eyes lit up instantly. Tomatoes were her favorite. "Looks delicious." She didn't say it aloud, but her gaze gave her away. I poked it with my chopsticks. "Want some?" She shook her head fast, saying, "I'm not hungry." I was amused. I teased her, "Let me tell you the recipe." The riverside became a cooking class. Tomatoes must be ripe. Peel them with hot water. Add vinegar to eggs to remove the raw smell. Makes them tender. Wow, really? She forgot to act tough, studying me like a student. Then add sugar to balance the sour. Asterisk gurgle. Asterisk her stomach rumbled. The air went quiet for 3 seconds. Her face turned beet red. I held back a laugh. "Eat a bit. Consider it a reward for training with me." I'm not eating for the food. Then just help me taste test, okay? Her tsundere crumbled. Fine, I'll try a little. 1 bite later, her eyes sparkled. "So good." I squinted, smiling. "More." She nodded. A few minutes later, half the box was gone. She lowered her head, whispering, "Sorry, I think I ate too much. If you're still hungry, want to come to my place for dinner?" I was stunned. In the original, no one from the Uchiha ever invited me. I laughed out loud. She glared at me. "What's so funny?" I teased. "Nothing. I just think you're cute." She turned bright red and shouted. She ran off, then stopped, asking quietly, "Will you be back for training tomorrow?" I perked up instantly. "Of course." "Humph. I guess I'll teach you a few Uchiha techniques." Her face flushed. His face flushed slightly. I said softly, "See you tomorrow. By the way, I'm Zuo Yue." The sun set in silence. The lake reflected the starlight. I sat right there, watching those small footprints vanish. The gears of fate are turning. In 3 years, Konoha will bleed. The Uchiha crest will be swallowed by fire. But right now, she is just a little girl with dimples. I let out a soft sigh, looking up at the Hawkage rock. My gaze was firm. No matter how the plot is written, I will keep her and everyone alive. The wind blew, leaves rustled, lights flickered in the distance, like a response. And I, a child of destiny with memories, finally found in this ninja world, my very first bond. Congratulations, host. Initial bond established. With original character, Zuo Yue. System officially activated. Points plus 500. Holy crap, a classic cheat system. I smacked my forehead. It makes me stronger via bonds. The deeper the connection, the better the rewards. Ninjutsu, bloodlines. Dojutsu, I can roll for it all. And the first target is gender-bent Sasuke, Zuo Yue. Is this a curse? Bonds, huh? Did I transmigrate into a weird version of Naruto? What about my Hinata? Wait, Zuo Yue mentioned her sister's training ground ... A female Itachi. My brain just exploded. I felt dizzy. Did I land in a fanfic world? Night deepened. I accepted this reality. The tsundere Zuo Yue is gorgeous, at least. And it's not a gender-bent ***. Ha, whatever. Time to build some bonds. And see what happens. I dashed into Ichiraku Ramen. As I sat, a notification rang out. Bond established with Toichi. Ichiraku Ramen owner. Bond plus 5. Points gained, 500. Eating ramen gives XP, really. The aroma of hot ramen hit me. I ate mouthful after mouthful. That bowl was my only warmth as a kid. When the village shunned me, Uncle Toichi welcomed me in. He made me realize someone didn't fear the Ninetales. After finishing, I said earnestly, "Uncle, your ramen truly heals." He froze, then smiled with teary eyes, and handed me a special coupon. In that moment, I realized this system's bonds might be more than just a cheat. Back in my small apartment, I eagerly opened the system. Points, 1,100. Just enough for a 10 pull. Come on. Heaven bless me with an SSR. Congratulations on your first 10 pull. Award, system inventory. 10 cards. The cards flashed and appeared. Chakra boost, taijutsu enhancement. Chakra metal proficiency. As the rare notification sounded, a warm flow spread through me. My chakra became hot and active. Even I was shocked. I'm only 3. Yet my chakra is for ex-Kakashis. When the last card flipped, light shone bright. Epic reward. Movie special choice box. Options, dark chakra, Menma. Special summon, Wu. I didn't hesitate to pick Menma. That's the dark version of me. From road to ninja. Menma can control the Ninetales perfectly. Peak cage level strength. 3 uses. 1 R each. This is a gift from fate. Looking at the glowing purple card, an impulse rose in me. In this life, I won't be the loser toyed with by fate. I will rewrite the future with these bonds. In my dream, a giant gate appeared in the mist. Sealed charms plastered the doors. Behind them, crimson slit eyes opened. Yo, big fox. I looked up and grinned. You're actually pretty cute. The Ninetales twitched with rage. It's been centuries. First time anyone said that. Let me out, brat. Its deep voice made the water ripple. I crossed my arms. No way, you look grumpy. How a mere human cub dares defy me? I beamed. Hey, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. You. The Ninetales snorted. Don't all you humans call me the nine-tailed fox? I scratched my head. But aren't you called Kurama? What? The crimson eyes contracted sharply. How? Do you know that name? I blinked. An old man in white told me in a dream. He said, a big fox named Kurama lived in me, and told me to be friends with him. The Ninetales was stunned. He said chakra's nature is connection. And true power comes from understanding. He also called me Asura. Did he get the wrong guy? The air froze instantly. The Ninetales' massive body trembled. ASURA ... So that's how it is. I reached out my hand. I'll be counting on you from now on. Kurama. The Ninetales snorted, but his tail gave a gentle flick. Take it, brat. From that day on, the seal space wasn't so cold. The next day, the moment I opened my eyes, the system prompt rang out. Congratulations, initial bond established with Kurama. Reward for 100 points. I threw a punch into the air. Yes. To win over the Ninetales last night, I even adapted Daluo Dalu into a chakra world. My throat was smoking from all the talking. Kurama's tail. It would sneakily wag when hearing about the hero's comeback. This guy is actually pretty cute. I grinned, biting into my bread. Take it slow. One day, I'll make you believe in me. Just then. Asterisk knock, knock, knock asterisk, a knock at the door. Besides Grandpa Third, no one ever comes here. Sarutobi Hiruzen walked in with a basket of groceries. His smile was gentle. Sarutobi Hiruzen, here are 300 points for living expenses. Is it enough? The old man asked softly. Plenty. I have nowhere to spend it. I smiled and took a bite of an apple. My smile was bright, but it made the Third's heart ache. The village in this child's eyes was like a strange, foreign place, not a home. Naruto, have you made any friends lately? I paused and said, yeah, a really amazing girl. Her shuriken skills are terrifyingly accurate, and she's got a fierce temper. The Third asked casually, what's her name? I answered frankly, Uchiha Satsuki. Hiruzen's pipe paused. He asked, and what do you think of her? She's a bit of a tsundere. I scratched my head and continued, but she's pretty cute. The Third nearly choked on his smoke. He coughed awkwardly. At that moment, he saw Naruto truly acting like a 3-year-old child. Not a Jinchuriki, not the Fourth's orphan, just a little boy who could blush. The old man smiled, but sighed inwardly. The future of Konoha ... might just rest on this child's shoulders. After the Third left, I grabbed my ninja pouch and headed to the training ground. Strange, is Satsuki not here? Suddenly, a flash of fire by the river. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A soccer ball-sized fireball erupted, but fizzled out in mid-air. Satsuki hung her head, fists clenched tight. Is the gap between me and my sister really that big? Yo, you're training. My voice suddenly rang out, startling her so much she nearly fell in. Seeing this, I grinned like a little son. You're amazing. You can do fireballs before even starting school. Satsuki was slightly shaken, her ear tips turning red. Then, she actually taught me how to do it. In no time, I successfully cast a basketball-sized fireball on my first try. Satsuki's eyes widened, thinking, is this guy a genius? I scratched my head and chuckled. You taught me well. As expected of an Uchiha genius, Satsuki pursed her lips, saying nothing. But the stubborn fire in her heart was reignited. Satsuki, I know a way to get strong fast. Wanna try? Of course. They went to the woods. I took a deep breath, concentrated chakra to my feet, and stepped onto the trunk, walking right up. This is tree walking. It trains chakra control. Learn to control your chakra, I laughed, and any jutsu becomes easier to learn. Then, halfway up the tree, I marked a line with a kunai. Satsuki gripped her kunai and charged at the tree. She marked a spot even higher than mine. She panted, looking up, HMPH. Next time, I'll go all the way to the top. The setting sun cast a brilliant glow. The tree trunk was covered in marks. Finally, Satsuki ran lightly to the top. The wind blew through her long hair. She shouted excitedly, Naruto! I won. I looked up and smiled, as expected of an Uchiha genius. Before I could finish, Satsuki slipped. My reflexes kicked in faster than I could think. I leapt up and caught her securely. We landed on the ground. Eyes met. Our breath mingled. That was close, I whispered. Thanks. Satsuki replied softly. Her face was as red as dying embers. She turned away in a panic. Let's go to the river and try again. Success. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Boom. A 10-meter fireball swept across the lake. Heat waves rolled out. Satsuki stared at the flames in a daze. Her eyes filled with disbelief. Did it. I exclaimed sincerely. That's incredible. Incredible. Zuyu's eyes softened. Then he lowered his head. He whispered, Naruto, do you really think I'm a genius? I was taken aback. Looking at his earnest face, I suddenly smiled. Of course. The way you work to be strong is more beautiful than any genius. Zuyu's eyes trembled, as if struck by those words. I will definitely surpass my sister and make the Uchiha proud. Meanwhile, in the Hokage office, Hiruzen gazed out the window, smoke curling around him. Perhaps this contact is the last hope for the Uchiha and Konoha. A cold voice drifted from the shadows. Hope, you're actually allowing someone to build bonds with an Uchiha child. That is playing with fire. Danzo sneered and left. The third watched him go. He whispered, power without bonds. Is the true danger. The sunset looked like blood. I slipped into the office and looked up with a grin. Third grandpa. I want to learn ninjutsu. Give me the basic scrolls. Hiruzen put down his pipe, frowning at the 3-year-old child. He had refused before, fearing I'd misuse chakra and get hurt. But recent surveillance reports showed I wasn't acting like a normal kid. That maturity, that aptitude, it was like a natural-born genius. Third grandpa, look. The next second, golden chains erupted from my back. The chakra distorted the air. What? That is adamant ceiling chains. The third stood up abruptly, stunned almost to the point of disbelief. That's the sealing technique only Uzumaki Mito could master. A 3-year-old child awakened it. He looked at those deep blue eyes, his heart filled with complex emotions. The Uzumaki bloodline, Minato's will. Perhaps this child is the child of destiny. Back home, I excitedly spread out the scrolls I swindled from the third. Besides the 3-body technique, there was wine style, breakthrough, lightning style, and secret sealing techniques. From that day on, my life had a routine. I ran in the morning to train taijutsu, hoping to bump into Might Guy. I practiced in the forest in the afternoon. I thought Zuyu would come twice a week, but he came almost every day. Zuyu even warned him, you've made a good friend, but don't tell the clan, or even your sister. We trained together, eating rice balls by the lake. I asked, what is your dream? To surpass my sister, and become the pride of the clan. And after that, Zuyu froze. He had never thought about it. I looked at the lake. Anju, I want to protect what I hold dear. Zuyu looked at me, his heart skipping a beat. Congratulations, host. Bond with Uchiha Sasuke, level 5. Received 500 points. I smiled. Winning over Sasuke was easier than I expected. At night, I entered the seal. The Ninetales yawned. Here to tell stories again. I smiled and held up my manuscript. Today is the climax of the story. Slowly, the relationship changed. It wasn't just hostility anymore, but 2 lonely souls connecting. One night, I didn't show up. The next day, the Ninetales grumbled. I didn't care. The system pinged. Bond with Kurama, level 3. Awarded for 100 points. I smirked. The big fox is such a tsundere. Peaceful days. Until to major events. First, Cloud Village envoys arrived, claiming they wanted an alliance. Second, Hinata's 3rd birthday. The day Neji was branded with the caged bird seal. System prompt. Main quest. Change Neji's fate. Reward. Multiverse gacha. And the stand. Crazy diamond. The next day, news spread. Cloud envoys tried to kidnap Hinata, but Hayashi killed them. Yet, Cloud accused Konoha of murdering their envoys. A diplomatic crisis erupted. Konoha's leadership was pressured. As per the original plot, they forced the Hyuga to comply. That evening, Hisashi was led away. I hid in a restroom and summoned a shadow clone. Sure enough, Anbu were tailing us. I quickly transformed into a villager and left the village. Deep in the forest, I used the reward card. Menma Uzumaki template. A man in a black robe and a fox mask stood there. The aura was completely different. So this is the power of Menma. I quickly left the village. Reaching deep into the forest, I took out the purple system reward card. Maelstrom Cipher template trial card. The next moment, a man in a black robe and a fox mask stood in the woods. His aura was completely different. So this is Menma's power. The cloud convoy gallops through the forest, transporting the blindfolded twin brother, Hyuga Hisashi. Once back at the cloud, the Reikage can unravel the Byakugan secrets. The leader's eyes glint with fanaticism. Suddenly, a shout from ahead. Enemy attack! Leaping from the carriage, they're in the center of the road. A black-robed, masked figure stands in the wind, silent as a deity. This is the cloud-hidden delegation. To intercept us is a declaration of war. The masked man makes no reply. He merely raises his hand to weave signs, a whisper like a curse. Instantly, 9 huge runes flash in the air. 9 summoning beasts roar from the void. A monstrous aura. The leader roars. Raiden. Power. Lightning sweeps out. The whole squad. Attack. Amidst the roar, electricity strikes the figure. But it hits an invisible wall, vanishing into smoke. How is this possible? The masked man slowly raises a hand. His voice is low. My request is simple. The power of the Byakugan. Leave it behind. In that moment, the 9 beasts roar in unison. The earth trembles. Lightning and dust create an apocalyptic scene. Under the blood-red sunset, the black-robed figure holds the ragdoll-like leader. He makes him watch the slaughtered battlefield. The beasts tear and roar. The screams of the cloud ninjas are swallowed by the wind. The voice beneath the mask is ice-cold. Hand over the Byakugan, or you all die here. The leader screams. In your dreams, with the Byakugan, the cloud grows stronger. We do this for our nation, for the sake of our country. National righteousness, I sneer. Kidnapping a 3-year-old, forcing people to die ... You call that righteousness? The battle ends. On the cloud side, only a terrified survivor remains. I turn and kick open the cage. I drag out the blindfolded Hyuga Hisashi. The air is thick with the metallic scent of blood. The masked man says calmly, I'll take the Byakugan. Go back and tell the Reikage. If you want revenge, come to the land of fire to find me. 2 days later, at a hot spring inn, Hisashi kneels by the window, staring at the black-robed man in the fox mask. That massacre, he still trembles from it. But what confuses him more is why he saved him. The Byakugan, I say softly, I'm Menma. I don't belong to any village. Then why save me? What for? It's not for the Byakugan. I look up, my tone calm, almost gentle. I just couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it? Couldn't stand those guys using national duty to throw away innocent lives. Hisashi is stunned. A powerhouse capable of wiping out a cloud unit. Doing it just because he couldn't stand it? After a long silence, Hisashi suddenly kowtows before me. I had already accepted death. Abandoned by my own people. I never thought I could be reborn like this. He thinks of the child, still training hard, gritting his teeth and persisting. Whatever your purpose, my life is now yours. If you have any commands, Hyuga Hisashi will not refuse. I stand up and gently press his shoulder. In this world, as long as you have attachments, no one truly wants to die. A gentle chakra flows into Hisashi, turning into a mark. The caged bird is also a seal. If the main family activates it, with this seal, I can keep you alive. Hisashi is shocked. Such a jutsu actually exists. I offer a faint smile. Since I saved you, I will see it through. When the dust settles, I'll arrange for you to see your son again. Hisashi chokes back his voice, tears welling up. Before then, stay here and rest. I stand up, my tone suddenly playful. I will need your help later. A second later, pop asterisk. Menma vanishes in white smoke. Hisashi stares at the empty room. The mark on his shoulder warm. Outside, the hot spring bubbles. For the first time, he felt the warmth of salvation. Back in the ninja world. A roar echoes in the Raikage's office. The thick mahogany desk is smashed to scrap by the fourth Raikage. A lightning chakra crackles on his arm, his rage manifesting as electric arcs. His chest heaves, his eyes burning with fury. The Cloud delegation ... wiped out. Even an elite Jonin level leader didn't survive. The list of casualties. The Raikage asks in a low voice. His secretary Mabui opens the file. It's all tallied. Compensation calculated. Ready for distribution. The surviving Chunin requested to revoke their ninja ID. They were diagnosed with severe trauma. The Raikage fell silent. His fists clenched tight. Lightning sparked across his skin. 27 lives. I'll collect that debt myself. Mabui heard him and continued. Lord Darui is prepared to defend the village. Combined with above, if you head to the land of fire, the Cloud still has the 2 tails and 8 tails. The Raikage nodded, his gaze sharp as a blade. Good, since that masked man dares to call me out, I'll go to the land of fire myself and drag him out of his rat hole. Let's go. Shy. Without waiting for them to react, he lunged straight for the window. Asterisk crash, asterisk. The glass shattered under his force. Shards shimmered in the sunlight. The Raikage was already a bolt of lightning, leaping from the Raikage building. Shy followed right behind. Darui scratched his head and sighed. Ah, another long trip. Why not use the door? Mabui looked at the mess and sighed helplessly. Here we go again. She skillfully opened her notepad to the Raikage's damage report, adding new entries. Today's damage. Solid wood desk. Reinforced window. 2 days later, word reached Konoha. The Cloud convoy was attacked. The killer wore a fox mask. The convoy was wiped out. He kidnapped Hyuga Hisashi and left a message. The Byakugan's power is mine now. Tell the Raikage to find me in the land of fire. Konoha ninjas cheered, mocking the Cloud for having it coming. But it didn't last long. Soon, the Cloud accused the masked man of being a Konoha ninja. They claimed Konoha kidnapped him. To provoke the Cloud, hand over Hisashi and the masked man, or the Raikage will declare war. The village was in an uproar. Anger filled the air, but no one was smiling. The shadow of war loomed over the village. Then, the Raikage arrived, leading 20 elite Jonin. With Darui, he entered the land of fire. There was no Cloud army, for he held them in contempt. Konoha today was not the Konoha of the past. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki was only 3. The 4th Hokage was dead, and internal strife was rampant. The only threat worth fearing was that masked man. Back in the Hokage's office, Hiruzen Sarutobi took a deep drag from his pipe. His brow furrowed. The Raikage came personally, with over 20 elite ninjas. Kaharu, standing nearby, said, "This isn't just a diplomatic visit, it's a threat." Homura added coldly, "The Cloud is trying to pressure us to hand over the masked man. But the problem is, we don't even know who he is." Hiruzen was silent for a moment, then slowly exhaled a plume of smoke. "Regardless, Konoha cannot show weakness, but we cannot provoke the Raikage. Welcome them. Let's see what the Raikage." But neither the Raikage nor Konoha's elders could have imagined that the masked man, who wiped out the Cloud delegation, kidnapped Hyuga Hisashi, and defied the Raikage, was just 3-year-old Uzumaki Naruto. At that moment, I was finishing a system mission. System, main mission Hisashi's death complete. Reward received. Unlocked, multiverse lottery. Ability obtained. Crazy Diamond. Congrats, host. Bond formed with Hyuga Hisashi. Level 4. 200 points rewarded. I closed the interface, satisfied. The Raikage should be here by now. Time for my entrance. Back in the Hawkage buildings. Negotiation room. The atmosphere was suffocating. The Raikage's fists clenched, crackling with lightning. My team was wiped out in the land of fire. And you pretend to know nothing? Isn't this a conspiracy of yours? Hiruzen slowly exhaled smoke. Lord Raikage, we are shocked as well. But accusing Konoha based on mere guesses is far too reckless. The Raikage laughed coldly. That masked man used space-time ninjutsu. Besides Konoha, who else has mastered such forbidden techniques? The third Hawkage remained calm. Perhaps the survivors were under genjutsu, aimed at starting a war. The Raikage was about to. Asterisk boom. Asterisk an explosion shattered the room. Teacups flew through the air, and the walls cracked. A Konoha ninja burst in, shouting, Lord Hawkage, we're under attack. The target is the Raikage. Everyone's expression changed instantly. Damn it! The Raikage, engulfed in lightning, charged out the door. The third Hawkage commanded, secure the perimeter, evacuate the civilians, seal off the area. Fire raged at Konoha's main gate. Piles of rubble everywhere. The smell of burning was pungent. A figure emerged slowly from the smoke. Clad in a black robe, wearing a fox mask, it was Menma, surrounded by 9 summoned beasts. Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise, Golden Snake, and floating above, Nando and Beto. The Reaper and Goddess stood close by. The air seemed to freeze. My only target, ... is the Raikage. The masked man spoke, in a cold, indifferent tone. Bastards! 20 elite Kumo ninjas roared, and charged forward. Lightning flashed. Lightning flashed. Suddenly, the Azure Dragon whipped its tail asterisk bang, asterisk. The lead Jonin was sent flying. Subformation, deploy. The Kumo ninja were instantly paralyzed. The Reaper raised its scythe high. Water style. Water shock arm. Just as the scythe neared his throat, Darui spat out a torrent of water. The water arm struck the scythe like a hammer, forcing its trajectory to deflect. It's not over, lightning style. Counter wave. Darui clapped his hands. Lightning surged through the water, forcing the Reaper back. But in the next second, a roar. White Tiger's claws and Azure Dragon's tail swept in. The ground shattered beneath their weight, sending rubble flying. Darui drew his blade, infusing it with violent lightning chakra, ready to fight to the death. Lightning illusion, flash pillar. Shai saw his opening. A blinding flash erupted. It wasn't just to blind, but to plant a genjutsu seed. Shai believed that even a cage-level fighter would be distracted for a fatal second. However, ... what? It's ineffective. Shi's pupils contracted violently. The Azure Dragon and White Tiger didn't falter. They became even more feral. Do these summons lack consciousness, roar? Shi's heart sank to the abyss. He could only jump to dodge. Asterisk clank, asterisk. Darui's blade clashed with the White Tiger. Sparks showered down like rain. His hand felt like it was breaking. His feet skidded, carving deep trenches. Where the hell? ... did these monsters come from? Hey, look over here. The cold voice came right by his ear. Menma appeared behind him like a phantom. His fist, wrapped in pitch-black chakra, caused the air to scream. Under the pressure of the strike. Can't dodge. Kid, look here. A thunderous roar exploded. The Raikage flashed behind the masked man, his right arm crackling with violent lightning chakra. He struck down at Menma's back. Lightning lariat, asterisk boom, asterisk. A shockwave swept across 10 meters, instantly collapsing the ground. Darui used a body flicker to retreat, cold sweat beating on his temple. As the dust settled, the crater was empty. Menma had reappeared 20 meters away. His black robes fluttered, ice cold beneath the mask. Spacetime ninjutsu ... troublesome. The Raikage stared at him intently. Who exactly are you, kid? The masked man slowly raised his hand, tapping his fox mask. Asterisk tap, tap, asterisk. Me. He replied with a lazy tone. Remember this, I am the end of the old era. The Kumo ninja bristled. Regardless of who you are, the land of lightning will destroy you. The Raikage stepped forward. Lightning crackling. Reveal your organization, and I'll make your death quick. Menma chuckled softly, his laughter filled with mockery. An organization, if you must know. The leader of the organization behind me. ... is me. Fire style. Great fire dragon. A roaring dragon of fire tore through the air, engulfing Menma instantly. Yet, at the heart of the heat, a transparent barrier shimmered. As the flames faded, the masked man remained unscathed. Hiruzen appeared in his black combat gear, accompanied by his Anbu squad. Lord Raikage, you must believe this isn't Konoha's plot. The third Hokage's gaze was sharp, locked firmly onto Menma. The Raikage snorted, reluctant as he was, facing this monster of an enemy. He had to concede. Hokage, I hate to say this, but let's do it your way. We work together to take him down. Work together. Interesting. Facing the two cage of the ninja world, Menma slowly pointed at the Raikage. Come. Konoha's only goal ... is to kill the Raikage. The Raikage roared, turning into a bolt of lightning. The Raikage roared, transforming into lightning. Lightning annihilating level. This strike transcended the visual limit. Yet Menma vanished from his spot, instantly teleporting atop the dragon summon. Each nine-faced beast is a coordinate for his movement. A raisin shuriken, pitch black as ink, radiating an aura of extinction, condensed in the masked man's palm. Boom! The black sphere collided head-on with the Raikage's armor. A blinding explosion of light. The ground shattered like a spider web. The Raikage roared through gritted teeth, forcing the destructive sphere into the sky. The sphere tore through the heavens, exploding into a searing white fireball. The shockwave cleared clouds for miles. Even Hiruzen watched in shock, his heart trembling. If that hit the city, it would be gone. Don't be so hasty. Menma slowly raised his hand, signaling a pause. Aren't you curious why I'm doing all this? You claim to protect peace, but peace has never truly arrived. Ninjas, soldiers, civilians, just because of different headbands, or an order from above, you kill each other. Those feudal lords signing treaties never bleed. The blood spilled is always for your greater good. His voice rose, dark clouds gathered, and lightning surged. If peace can't be achieved through understanding, then I shall become war itself. Whenever war breaks out, I will destroy the armies that start it. I'll crush everyone's ambition. I will force you to embrace peace through absolute despair. This is my fate. Absurd. You madman. You won't overturn the world's order. Menma, you speak of ending war, but everything you're doing is declaring war on the world. The third Hokage gripped his staff and asked in a low voice, "Where did you learn the flying rage in?" He didn't answer, just raised his hand again. A massive raisin shuriken danced at his fingertips, declaring war. Yes, this is my war against the world. Menma tossed the black sphere backward. The distant forest instantly evaporated. The smoke rising from the 100-meter crater forced even the Hokage and Raikage to shield themselves from the searing heat. When you possess the power to destroy the world, justice becomes a laughable excuse. The masked man's voice was eerily calm. Raikage, I'll be waiting for you there. I don't want to hurt the innocent. The next moment, Menma vanished. Stop. The Raikage chased after him as a blue streak. The peak of ninja speed. Raikage-sama, Shai and Darui tried to follow, but the nine-faced beast blocked their path. Looks like we can't leave until we clear these guys out. Darui drew his blade, his eyes unusually grim. Not far away, in the Konoha NBU ranks, Kakashi's Sharingan spun wildly, Nobody could have guessed. Outside this earth-shattering battlefield, on a secluded Konoha roof, a 3-year-old blonde child was rubbing his forehead, letting out a long sigh. So, the me inside, is that important? It was Naruto Uzumaki, that Menma, acting all high and mighty, and spouting anti-war quotes on the battlefield, was just a shadow clone from an experience card, becoming war itself, war against the world. I cringed so hard at those lines, I almost dug a hole in the roof with my toes. I overacted, but I knew this act had to go on, partly to build a villain persona, to eventually recruit monsters like Deidara, Kakuzu, and Zabuza, and partly so my true self could rise as a Konoha genius and establish himself legitimately. After all, who knows when those Otsutsuki aliens will arrive? A tearful, anxious cry broke my train of thought. I shivered and looked over. A little girl with messy hair and a flushed face came running, panting. In her dark eyes, glistening tears welled up. Zuo Yue. I was stunned. Before I could react, Zuo Yue dashed forward and grabbed my ear. You big idiot. Do you know how dangerous that was? Her hands were shaking, palms cold and sweaty. In this village, where no one cares about the fox boy, she was the only one who rushed out of the shelter at the first sound of the explosion, searching half the village. If that jutsu had exploded in the village, you would have died. I stubbornly looked away, trying to hide my tears, but my voice trembled, looking at this usually arrogant girl, now scared out of her mind. The thrill of my scheme suddenly died, replaced by a bittersweet warmth. I let her pull me back to the shelter. But could my Menma clone handle the rakeage? Sasuke was dragging me along, no time to think.